So today I'm going to be doing an oil change on my 2019 Miata, and I'm about 5,000 miles, and they say with these cars they don't require some weird break-in period. You don't have to change the oil at like 1,000, even though some people like to do that. They said change it at 5,000, so I'm almost there. I'm like 20 miles away. So I have Pennzoil Ultra Platinum Full Synthetic 5W30. This is not 0W20 like what they usually put in these cars. They only put 0W20 apparently, from what I've read, is for emissions and some other like temperatures to cover a wider range. So since I'm in Florida, I'm just going to go ahead and put 5W30 in here. Like if you look in the manual, it says if it's in Mexico, 5W30 is fine. So I just want a little bit more protection from heat, and I don't really care about mileage that much on it. So this should quiet up the car a little bit, with some of the mechanical noise, I would hope. So I got some of this right here. I think I paid like 20 bucks, 22 bucks on Amazon for this. This stuff is very hard to find apparently locally for me. I live in a like Lady Lake, Florida area. So I couldn't find this anywhere around me within like 30 miles. So I just went on Amazon, ordered 5 quarts of it. The car only requires 4.5 quarts. Everywhere I read online, I researched this before I decided to do it. People say, put in 4, put in 4.2, and then check it. Don't put in a full 4.5. Just, it's better to do less than more with this. So I got some of this here. I got a K&N HP 1008 filter. So this is the one that you want to get for your car. And I also got a Fumoto valve. So if you don't know what a Fumoto valve is, it is a quick little like oil change valve that has a safety clip on here, and then you have to pull up on this lever, and then you can turn it over, and then the oil will come out. So there's no more getting like a 8mm hex key and breaking it, or getting a bit. You just have this valve here, which has a spring in it, so you can't force it over. You have to lift up, pull over, and then your oil can come out. And then on top of that, it has a locking safety clip, which locks in it like that. I've read people online, they're like, oh yeah, I can't trust that. I live up where it snows a lot, and snow gets underneath the car and it knocks us over and knocks the clip off. I don't know I don't know if that's gonna ever happen. You would have to really be plowing through snow for that to happen, I would imagine, but I'm gonna install this as well and get rid of my regular plug. So if you want any of this stuff, I'll have links to all this in the description, where you can just easily click on it and buy it. It'll be through Amazon, so it'll be super painless to buy, and probably some of the cheapest prices. So check the description down below to pick up your oil change kit. So I got the car over here, and if you notice, I'm not in my driveway like usual. I'm actually at my work. So at my work we have a lift. So I'm gonna make use of that and use that lift instead of being on my back. So let's get started. Okay, car's here in the lift. I got the hood popped. Super dirty, don't judge me. There's a lot of pollen out. And I want to say we need a, what do we need? 12mm socket. 4 of these. There's 9 little bolts on the bottom of this pan. So I'm gonna go over here. Let me pan down here. These are super trick. These are Sonic cabinets and Sonic tools. If you want to get a setup like this for your garage, you can just go to my work's website, obsessedgarage.com, and you have these super cool tools in here, all set up, organized. These are, I want to say, what are they, from the Netherlands, or I can never remember where it is. They're from Europe though, Sonic is. They're super cool. See, you even have oil wrenches in here, and super cool stuff. But, I'm gonna go get what tools we need. Okay, so I read online you need a 12mm socket for 6 of the bolts on the bottom tray, and it says the oil drain bolt is 17mm. So these are the 2 tools that you'll need to remove everything and drain it. So here's the engine bay now. I'm just gonna check the oil just ahead of time. I actually want to see where it's at. So the normal procedure, for checking oil on this, I read, is you fill it up, you run the car, let it get up to operating temperatures, and then you let it set to let all the oil drain back down, and then you check it. You put the dipstick in, pull it back out, after you wiped it clean, and then you check. So it's been sitting for quite a while now. It should have all mostly drained down to the bottom. Pull out the dipstick here. What you want to do is wipe this clean, put it back in. It's a little warm still. Don't rest your hand on that. So that is like right at the tippy top of full. So it's up to the max line. Okay, I checked all that, so I'm gonna go ahead and lift the car up. I have blocks underneath it, so let's get it up in the air. And before I do that, I'm gonna loosen this oil cap up. Okay, car is up in the air. Now I can get to taking off all this stuff on the bottom. So now there's 9 bolts on this metal pan right here. This is where I believe our plug actually is, or this little punch out is. So let's see if I can take these off with this little Milwaukee. No way. No. This up with my head. Okay, so I'll situate you around over here. So there's our oil filter right here. I'm gonna swip. I always do the oil filter. I don't always. I mean, they're so cheap. Why not just do them when you do your oil every time? So I just do it every single time. So oil filter and then 17 millimeter plug right here. So just gonna go ahead and start with that. Get this stuff drained out, let it sit for a while and let it drain. Now I'm gonna be using a twin bush, like a little oil catch thing here, extractor, oil catcher, collector, whatever you wanna call it. So I'm gonna use that to help assist me in draining the oil and not getting it all over myself. Okay, I set the lift down on the locks. Get a little bit lower here. Just the least messy way possible. And I'm gonna put some gloves on before I get too far with this. What's nice about these catches is you can drop the bolt in here and it won't fall down in a bunch of crap. I just don't want to, it's still pretty warm, so I don't want to burn myself. It's a little better to do it when it's warm too, because look how viscous, not viscous, the viscosity of it, it's, super just runny, thin, not cold. I'll probably let that drain for a couple minutes, then I'll take the filter off. Okay, this is at a drip now, so here comes this fun part where you pretty much always get oil on you. Put the thing on there pretty tight in factory. Good thing I have this little tool that might work. I don't know. We'll find out. Yep. Ah, dang it. Okay, so that's all off. So I'm going to prepare the new filter while that's still draining out. So here we have our K&N filter, some schmoo on here. So I'm going to go take some of that old oil and just rub it around this ring here to make sure it's lubricated and it has a good seal against the little, whatever you want to call it. So I'm just going to grab this old oil, lubricate this ring. I never pre-fill these. I just don't do that. I figured it would probably drain in there, or, you know, I'm not too worried about it pre-filling the actual filter. You can if you want, you know, don't bother me. And there you can see I have my old filter, and you can see I just dropped my plug in there. I don't think these are, oh shoot, camera's falling. Oh, go up, go up, 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 up. So I have my old plug. I don't think these are magnetic in any way. There's just like a coating on it. So I just put that back in there. Point you back up this way. What I'll do, I'll also clean up, dang it. I'll clean up where this sits on here with a good toweling. Go ahead and put this filter back on, a new one. You can let this thing drip for like a month and it'll never really stop dripping, so don't sit there and wait for the drip to stop. I'm just gonna put this on hand tight. There we go. I'm gonna mark the date on this with a Sharpie because that's something I always do. So I got a paint pen here. There we go. Excuse my bad handwriting. So that's all done. Good to go. I'm gonna start to install the Fumoto valve now. Now I'm gonna go ahead and read you the Fumoto valve instructions because apparently they're pretty important. People bust these valves from a lot, but I've seen where they try and torque down on the wrong thing on the valve. So it says 1, installation, place the blue fiber gasket not required for tapered threads or O-ring valves, which I don't have, onto the valve so it will sit flat between the oil pan and the valve once installed. So it's the blue fiber gasket that's already on it in the package. 2, prepare, remove the drain plug from the oil pan, drain oil, clean drain port area before installation. 3, hand tighten. Thread the valve onto the oil drain port by hand, do not cross thread. Don't do that, it's just bad. Torque, it says tighten with a crescent wrench on the body of the valve, an additional 1/8 turn, do not over tighten. It says here in little asterisks, do not use a wrench on the hex head of the nipple. So when you see that little hex head, like little bolt on there, I'll show you it. Don't go from there. That's, you know, that's not a tightening point. You have to actually get on the body of the valve and tighten it that way with a crescent wrench. It says close and lock. Close the valve firmly, turning the control lever clockwise until it stops and the perpendicular to the oil outlet. The lever will click into place. Blah 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 blah. Then it says install the clip on, the little safety clip on there, and refill your oil. So, you know, follow those instructions. Okay, this thing's never gonna stop dripping. So you want to take your valve, get it started to turn in there. Now I'm gonna go in here, wipe this up just a little bit. Then you want to put it on by hand. Now, we got it on there, hand tight, and this is where you want to take a crescent wrench, you know. You can see it's pretty tight. So, you see this little hex right here? This is the thing I was talking about. You don't want to tighten on this. You want to tighten on the body here. Now, I don't have a crescent wrench, so I'm going to take a 19mm wrench, put it on here, and then tighten it up like that. I said 1/8 of a turn, but I'm gonna go to where I feel comfortable. and where the valve is sitting straight up. Make sure you keep your oil drain plug. You never know, you might hate this thing. You might not like the valve, so keep your plug. Now when you change your oil, you just hook a hose up on here. You just pull this lever up, take off your clip, pull that lever up, turn it, you know, parallel with or whatever, you know, towards the valve here. Turn it that way, oil drains out easily. Save a bunch of time changing oil instead of getting your, you know, your hands all oily or trying to like chase the thread out and hold it there and take it away really quick. So, you know, it's just a little cheap convenience thing. So, thought I'd share that. And do not forget to put your clip on. It'll say Fumoto facing the correct way, like that. And now that valve cannot accidentally open up with that clip in there. It's completely locked in place. So that's how you do that. I'm gonna go ahead and put this bottom shield back on, lower the car down, fill it up. Now I read some people online, they're like, this might have like a clearance issue with the valve, or it's gonna hit the pan. I don't think it's gonna hit at all. So I'll see if I can see if it hits, but I don't think it's gonna hit. Put these in by hand so you don't cross thread it. I'm trying to be a Dumbo and put a impact gun on here and blast it in there. Okay, all hand tightened in there. Grab your impact. Don't go crazy. What's nice is this impact has 2 settings. There's a 1 and a 2. The 1's just right for this. That's all done. Just gotta take my light out, lower the car down. Now I just gotta fill my oil up. Bring you in here. I didn't bring a funnel. Oil cap. I'm gonna put 4 quarts in, and then I'll check it. Then if I need a little more, I'll put a little bit more in. And that's the nice thing about this valve. If you overfill it, man, you just go down there and hit that valve really quick and drain some out. You don't have to sit there and unscrew anything. So let me see if I can find a funnel. So I don't know if that's gonna be able to, I don't know if I can get the angle on there. It's not like a Motul oil thing where it has the little neck that comes out. I found a little Forma funnel. So this is like a funnel that you can form yourself. So it's the only thing I got. Try and use that. I don't know. Okay, I'm just gonna go for it. Leave 1 quart in here. Ooh, pouring too fast. Pouring too fast. Okay, so there's 1 quart left. I put a little bit extra in there because spilled oil like all over my valve cover. That's how much I put in it for now. I'll check it and then I'll decide if I need to put a little bit more in there. So I'm gonna go check the oil cold real quick. I'm gonna try and do this with 1 hand here. So that's like right at the top. So considering I spilled a little bit, that's how much is left. There, you can see, hopefully, that's how much that's left. Right at the very top. So I'll let it warm up, let it cool down, and check it again. You can see, just gotta wait for that to get up to around 210, be completely warmed up, and then I'll check it after it cools down a little bit, after it drains back down into the pan. Okay, so up to operating temperature. I'll go ahead and turn it off. I'm gonna let it drain back down into the pan, and then I'll check the levels again, see where it's at. Okay, it's been sitting for a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and pull the dipstick out and check the final level. And I don't know if you'll be able to see that. It's a little bit about halfway. A little bit above halfway. So I'll check it one more time just to verify. Down there again. Now that one's right below the max line, so it's probably still draining just a little bit. So I'm just gonna leave it there. I think that's good. And that's pretty much all you need to do. So lift it up, 9 12mm bolts holding that metal pan in, and then there's a 17mm for the actual drain plug. And if you're like me, you can get a 19mm wrench and put on your Fumoto valve. I already like that thing, it's super nice. They're pretty cheap, they're like around 20 to 25 bucks, I think. So you just gotta do that, and then don't do what I did and go grab a funnel so you don't pour oil all over the place like an idiot. That's all you really need to do. A lift definitely helps. I can't really get my car up on my ramps unless I have race ramps. So it's even better than normal ramps, but I have to put boards there to try and like slowly get it up there or my lip's gonna hit. So doing it in the lift is just easier for me. If you have access to a lift, it's obviously a nice little thing to have, but almost forgot. We have to reset the light. So there's two ways you can do it. One way is through holding the illumination button here down and then pressing the start button twice to get into, you know, on, like power mode or accessory mode, whatever you want to call it, accessory 2. But there's that, and you can do it through your the apps through the command wheel. So you can do it through that. So I'm going to try and do just the illumination method where you hold this down and then you go into on. So I hit the start button twice. And I'm supposed to hold it here. I don't see anything flashing. I'm looking. There's nothing flashing on and off. So I'm guessing this doesn't work anymore for 2019. Maybe they coded it out because this does not work. It's supposed to be a flashing light. So the other way, from what I understand, is hit this twice. We'll wait for this to go through and do its thing. Then go over to applications. And then status monitor, maintenance, oil change, reset. And then now it's at 5,000. So, yep. And I have that as a fixed. They do have a flexible one. I'm just gonna set it at fixed. That's like I think it's like 7,500 miles is the flexible thing from Mazda. I'm just gonna leave it on fixed at 5,000. And then I don't have tire rotation on because I don't really bother with that. Usually I just do it every other oil change. I'll rotate tires. So I don't know what this is, but I will reset that as well. And then there we go. I don't know what that is. It's just a general maintenance thing. So there you go. That's how you reset that. My little wrench is now gone. Just have a little water temp, coolant temp sensor up there. So that's how you reset that. And that's it. So thank you guys for watching. Hopefully this helped some of you, and catch you on the next one.